Hey, Crystal.
Who delivers the services so important. Leaning on people with lived experience who get it and understand. I was just sitting here saying, "Oh, I use that." I said, "You're not crazy," and I was like, "Oh yeah, we're in a black environment. Most of you understand what that means in our home. We say you're not crazy. It means you're not tripping, right? It doesn't speak to mental health. You're not tripping. This was systemic. These things were intentional, and who serves the person often gets that.
Okay, can you hear me?
You change
Yeah.
people's hearts
Okay. So
by
what I'm gonna do is, for whatever reason, on my tablet and my phone, I can't stream live on Facebook, but I can stream live on YouTube, and then I can copy the link and put it over on Facebook.
Okay. So we're streaming YouTube now?
Yeah. Well, we today, yeah, not
No,
that's
let's
not normally
I,
what we.
I see YouTube
Huh?
live right now. I see YouTube live right now.
Oh, well, it shouldn't be live, but okay. Let's see. Hold on. Um,
I didn't even look up there and notice that it's streaming.
I can't hear you. Oh,
I
okay.
said I didn't even bother to look up top there, and I see now that it's flashing and streaming to the.
Okay, here. Let me I see what's happening. Okay, is it no is it still live?
I still show it. See ya.
Huh?
I still see it. Yes.
What's happening here? I can't hear you. Uh,
Oh boy.
okay, is it still live?
It still says showing on YouTube. I'm not on YouTube
And I
seeing.
came off of what happened here.
Hmm.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I still hear you. Yes.
Okay, why can't I hear you?
I don't know.
I can't hear you, but let me see. Why can't I hear you? Uh, let's see what's happening here. I was hearing you. I'm gonna come back out and come back in. Okay,
All right.
let me make you host. Actually, I think it's gonna make you host. Let's see.
Well, I'm right now. I'm co-host.
No, it's got you co-host. So I'm gonna make you host and I'm gonna come back in.
All right.
Okay. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, and I can hear you. I don't know what the hell happened. So my kids are actually getting ready to compete. They're in the semifinal now. But so um you got the video up, right?
Yeah. I'm watching the video. I see the video. Yeah.
Okay, so when I go to share, from my phone, it allows me to broadcast to live. So I will go live on. Where the hell am I gonna go live? Oh, I can't because I'm not
Hold
host
on.
right now.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
got to try and
so
figure that out to make you host.
yeah, you
Make
just
host.
yeah. Okay, now I'm host.
Now
So it
you got to make me
allows
co-host again.
right. Okay. Oh shoot, no.
And Robin's there too, right?
Robin is there. Yeah, everybody actually is over there. You should have
this
been able to see
this
them
is
in
gonna
the
be just a
crowd.
one man show today, right? It's just so.
Where's Steven?
Huh?
Is Steven coming in? He should be coming in. He's not. He's not at the event. He's still in Atlanta. Yeah, she's over there. We actually probably should have had this one. because I don't think he thought that through, and I thought he had arranged that with. But then when I saw that he had made it for Michael, then I realized like, he didn't contact him.
Yeah. Who's Brenda Fountain?
I don't know. She's been there since for a little while. I opened up at 10:30. So I don't know who she is.
And the YouTube is the community briefing YouTube or Recycling Black Dollars?
Is mine, and then I'm going to drop the link into the community briefing, and I'm gonna drop the link. I can then copy the URL, and then put it on Facebook.
When you say yours, you mean your own personal YouTube channel?
My own personal Facebook page.
Oh, okay.
YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. But now I gotta find.
And then I had something this morning I had to deal with. There was money taken out of a client's account erroneously by the insurance company.
Really?
Yep.
How did they manage to do that?
They screwed it up. And so I called to check. I'm like, this doesn't look right. And, and it says Midland, internal. And then she would have had to pay a fee, but the fee was high. And it's like, how did that pass the suitability? So somebody did a key punch error. And the contract numbers were similar. And I said, now I need a letter. You guys said to send a letter to the client saying it's your fault. Because this client, once the client gets the letter in the mail, so I'm gonna have to call her and let her know the client's gonna get a letter in the mail. Like, what?
Wow.
Money? Yeah, that's not good.
That's deep.
Yeah.
That's deep.
So I was just going through my emails around 10, a little after 10, and I noticed it and freaked out. Like, oh my God, what is this? How did this happen? What?
Oh, wow. When I talked to you earlier, that's what you were freaking out over. For whatever reason, I don't have the tools anymore. What the heck? Why can't I have it, but then I don't have it. He's in the room now.
Renee. Let me get a shirt on. I was distracted here. So this is going to be an interesting show.
It is going to be. All of a sudden, I don't have.
Joseph's there, Michael, Robin.
All of them. Well, Michael and Robin are actually on the panel.
Yeah, they're on the panel. Let me see if I can get back to this. So Michael Banner is now talking.
For a reason now I don't have the access. Yeah, I don't have the access to YouTube anymore. What the hell happened?
375 million. It's a grant to the state, which means the state, if they wanted to, they could turn around and grant it. So the tools are there. We need people who are not afraid to make a mistake, because that's how you learn how to get it right. And I think we've always been told that won't work. You can't do that.
Stop share.
And I spent my whole career proving people wrong. So I know it can happen.
I love that.
There it is.
Thank you.
Oh, wait, why am I still live?
Black LA needs us to be innovative and unafraid. I took on the role.
I am live right now.
Not to defend it, but to make it better, and to make it better for the Black and brown communities that make up the majority of those who are homeless. And I'm encouraged by what I hear. And I want to.
Okay, we're still live on YouTube.
Yeah. And do you see the
But that's fine, because no one else is going to go there. I can actually edit this and put in our Oh, that's cool.
Are you seeing it now? Because I haven't shared.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it on YouTube. Yeah, that's Robin and what's his face. I am seeing it.
All right.
Okay, this is a new experience.
Yeah, but when I share, I lose having that screen, and I got to pull this up here.
Can you put one on another screen? Oh, that lady right there on the end. Oh, she is dynamite. Not in the purple, not in the burgundy dress. The one that has the short hair. She is awesome. But here's the thing: we're getting a feedback.
I'm not hearing it.
Well, maybe because I'm listening. Oh, I know why.
But you're listening to you're listening to the State of Black LA in two sources.
You know, I'm listening to. Okay, I'm gonna shut that off. So okay. It's already live, so we'll just have to do some editing because there's nobody gonna be over on my YouTube channel. When we do start, it's only gonna pick it up from where we start.
Mm-hmm.
Or I will edit it, and I will edit it.
Who are you talking about? You talking about Rochelle Mills?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
Rochelle
here's
Mills
Stevie.
with the short hair, short pepper hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a bad lady.
He has pretty eyes.
To her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw her at when Robin and Michael did that other homeless thing for business fed.
Hey, Stephen.
Hey, Stephen. We got a few minutes. Stephen?
Yes.
So here's what we're doing because I'm in New York for the kids. The kids are competing right now. And they're in the semifinals. In fact, I'm missing one of them. But however, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start it. It's going to stream live on my YouTube channel because for whatever reason on my app I can't. On the phone I can't do it to Facebook. But then I'll take the link and put it on Facebook.
Okay.
And then Greg is going to share the State of Black Youth. It's been going on since 9. Right now, Robin and them are on the panel. They're on the homeless panel. It goes on to, I believe, 2. But we'll stop. Huh?
It goes on to 2, I think.
Yeah. So we'll stop ours when we when we regularly stop. We might not have a whole lot of people because everybody's over there at the line, which is fine. That'll help us. I'll adjust everything on our feedback.
It would have been beneficial if they would have gave us so we can read it and look at it.
It is. If you go to the Urban League, website, then it's there.
Again, this is more like a brochure. I mean, like the bios and everything. You need to have like a plan of action.
I thought they did. That's what.
I'm going to admit our guess. It's 10:59.
Okay, we're ready to go.
Not really, but
You mute
that's Crystal's background noise.
Oh yeah, let me go upstairs so I have no background. All right, that's better. Is that better? You can still hear the noise? I'm on the escalator, it's only me. see.
Mute your sound a minute.
Okay.
All right, that fixed it. Yeah. All right. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It's going to be an interesting show today. We are sharing some of the State of Black LA that is happening live somewhere here in Los Angeles. I'm not sure what the location is. Do you know what the location?
USC.
It's at
USC.
USC. Okay, got it.
Okay. I'm going to the and it's all well, you should hear nothing. Okay. All right, you ready to go?
Yes.
Okay, let's rock. Recording. Oh shoot, there's music in here. All righty, and we are already live on Mustard. So welcome. Go ahead, Greg.
Good morning. Welcome to the community briefing. Today is the 10/10/24, 10/10, October 10th. And my name is Gregory Sneed. We are going to have a little bit of a different show for you today. We're going to be sharing some of what's going on here in Los Angeles at the USC, University of Southern California. The Urban League is, along with other partners, conducting a seminar called The State of Black LA, The State of Black Los Angeles. And right now on the screen is one of our frequent guests, Michael Anderson, and also Michael Banner, who joins us very often, is also on the panel talking about housing and homelessness. So, so you're in for a different experience today, and this is technology-wise. We're experimenting with something, so if there's some glitches, thanks for bearing with us and giving some patience. On top of that, Crystal is on the East Coast with a competition, and so she's got some background noise and things going on, and people saying hi to her and what have you. So, interesting show. And Stephen is in Atlanta, and Robin, our other co-host, is also at the event. So that's where we are. So thanks for joining us today. And now let me bring to the virtual and remote stage the upcoming Egyptian queen, is Crystal Mitchell.
Hey guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is, as Greg said, a pretty unique opportunity we're doing here, but hopefully you guys will enjoy it. The State of Black LA, which is being hosted by the Los Angeles Urban League, is actually in progression. It's been there since 9 o'clock this morning. So we're going to bring you the second half. And so Robin Phillips, one of our co-hosts, she's there. So we hope you guys enjoy it. And then, of course, we will edit all of this out, and then it will be actually on YouTube ourselves. So I'll take out all background in order to do all that. But I am Crystal Mitchell. I am the co-director of Recycling Black Dollars, the inspiration behind this platform and bringing us together, bringing information to us that is vitally necessary. So this is definitely vitally less necessary. It is actually streaming live on NBC as well as on Telemundo. So with that, Greg, we're just going to kick it off. What you think? You're on mute.
Yeah, that helps. It even says it looks like you're talking and you're muted.
Exactly. We're gonna skip all the formalities and we're just gonna go straight to where we're going today.
Man, okay, all right. So let's see here. Let's do a share, and let's go here and share sound, and then I have to go here.
Together, you can move that project in less than 2 years. What we traditionally do with affordable housing is we will stack up to 7 to 11
Can I
sources of
see it?
funding, and it just is an exercise in futility. What is exciting is that there are so many models for success going on around the country, and now we can get people into the room.
Now, what's interesting is their feed is buffering.
Bring that think tank into actionable items. It is time to do it, not more research for it, not more training about it. Write the check and set us free.
Thank you. Thank you. And I want to have you close this out, Mr. Banner. What are your thoughts?
Thank you. So I have a philosophy in life: if you do not ask, you will not get. Right. And if you don't ask, the answer's already no, right? So by asking, you're confirming that there's another way to get them to say yes. And the thing that I am typically every day thinking about that excites me, I find there's a wealth of young people who look like us that want things to be different. We're going to have to figure out how to harness that energy. And when you have done what I've done in the financial world for years, rarely, I can't think of the times that I had to go and talk to somebody else who looked like me and said, I need $10 million.
Yeah,
Crickets. And we have to change that too, because the apparatuses and the decision making that has been done for the last 40 years has put us in this place where we sit today. Right. If we do not take the time to change that, it's the Einstein moment. Why is anything going to be different if we didn't take a chance and take a risk to make it different? So I encourage everybody that's here and watching to think about how more sophisticated civic and community engagement has gotten over the last decade. We need to keep using that as a tool. And I would say, finally, because I'm a lender and borrow money my whole life, I believe you need to engage, you have to borrow, and then you invest. Yeah. That's what we need to do.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks to all the panelists. I believe that we have time for a little Q&A, and so I think I believe our Master of Ceremonies is going to be coming up and assisting in that.
Yeah, so I think you guys are all going to take a photo on stage, and while we're doing that, we're just going to take a 5-minute break. It's a super quick break while they'll take their picture, and then we'll resume our program shortly. So 5 minutes to stretch.
Okay, I guess
Feel
no
good.
questions.
no, we went over.
Cynthia Mitchell.
Okay, this is interesting.
It's one of the largest civil rights organizations in the country.
Oh, but okay.
CEO of the Los Angeles Urban League.
Hold on, let me get back.
Plaguing Black Antoninos.
The mental health system has broken down. The housing systems have broken down. Our economic systems have broken down. And yet we're going to point fingers.
This week, the LA Urban League will hold its annual discussion and deep dive on the state of Black LA.
The inequities, the disparities, and of course, that is why the Los Angeles Urban League is here to talk about the state of Black Los Angeles. How important one entity can solve this. You see, when people aren't homeless, they think that it's not their problem.
And she believes many of the challenges start in the classroom. New numbers from the State of Black Los Angeles County report show that for every 1,000 Black students, there are 66 Black teachers, compared to 178 white teachers for white students.
We have to see what we can do to assist in bringing people of color back into the educational system. Teachers are getting broken down in these schools. You have so many issues of your safety, proficiency. You have issues on books. Why is it that in white schools you get new books and in communities of color you get books that are 10 years old?
She says the cost is not a dollar amount. It's the future of the next generation.
It's really important within our communities that we begin to provide those resources, to provide that support, to provide mentors, and to have those programs, which we have.
One resource the LA Urban League provides is workforce development, helping people get into major sectors of the workforce, like construction, medical, and the entertainment industry. But Mitchell Hurd says getting your foot in the door is just the first step.
It's about having access. People of color don't often have the same opportunities as others.
For more than a century, the LA Urban League has pushed for a level playing field for African Americans and underserved communities.
We have a generation that's depending on us.
Mitchell Hurd is calling on those who've made it to the top to leave the door open for those behind them.
Let's not act as though everybody is down and trodden, because they're not. It really is about community. It's about getting outside of your own bubble.
And she has faith this generation will demand the change that's needed.
Do you know what's a saving grace? Is somehow this next generation feels it. But the thing that will happen is they will not be tricked. They're about being about it. Forget the talk.
Right.
They're done with the talk.
All right, they're on a break, of course. So, Crystal, as soon as we join and bring them live, they go on to a break.
Who do we have on? Nobody. We don't even have. Oh, Roz. Can Roz talk about last night? While we're waiting for them to.
Oh, yeah. You mean talking about the voting thing?
Sure.
Yeah, Roz.
Greg can talk about last night. He was there.
I was there.
Okay, so why don't we do an update there, and then by that time.
So an update on the voting information series that Roz is hosting at the new townhouse here in Los Angeles, also in concert with Emma Maxey, providing information about the upcoming elections and information that helps us to be more informed on the decisions. So just sort of in summary, they've covered the propositions on the ballot, the measures that are coming. I think it's 30 and 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. The measures, we've talked about Project 2025. And then last night, we had two or three candidates that are running for school board, and the importance of us being active with the school board, getting people like us to be on the school board to help guide and direct our schools in providing services for our children. Obviously, there's declining enrollment. There's a lot of challenges. We had an existing school board member, Carlos McGee, who's on the board at Inglewood Unified School District.
Greg, just to interrupt a little, as you bring Carlos McGee was the host and moderator for last night, and she's the president of Inglewood School Board. So in general, they talked about the audience talked about the needs of the schools, and they really got into the fact that Inglewood is in what are they in?
Receivership. I was just about to go there.
Right, receivership, and talk about them trying to get out of that. And you had a board member that's running for her seat again. That's Margaret. Margaret is running for her seat again. Margaret, no one last name. Anyway, I'm gonna think of it in a minute. Then you had the Charlotte Newbill is running for. She's backed by Dr. McKenna, and she's running for LAUSD school board. And you had Margaret's running for Inglewood. Then you had the lady that's running for Torrance College Board, the board on college, and they started talking about issues, educational issues that we have, and the lack of community and parent involvement to make things happen, as they talked about while they were running. But in general, they're just talking about the need that we as a community, with kids or without kids, alumni or non-alumni, need to get involved at the school, with the school, and get involved with the education of our kids. And as they were just talking on there about the ratio of kids, teachers to schools, it was just last night I thought was very interesting, in what they were talking about with the schools and how we need to get involved. And next week is the judges. We'll have 4 sitting judges on a panel moderated by an attorney to talk about why judges are important. And that's the topic of the session. Judicial votes matter. And then you will have, I think it's about 7 confirmed candidates who are running. They will get to speak on that second hour about why they're running and what they plan to do in running. We're coming up after that is the we got current prices coming to talk about
Electoral College.
Electoral College, and the trifecta and things like that. And we'll probably, if we have time, we're going to go back over measures again. I think is the interest that's there. But the last week before the election, we're having everybody to bring their sample ballots. We're going to go back over that. You're still going to vote for who you want, but any questions or issues are helping you to get through that ballot, to get through the ballot. And again, one of the most interesting ones that we had, where everybody participated in, was trying to understand the measures and propositions. So we'll probably hit those again, and Sharia be back there again. But that's the last week before the election is what we're doing. And it's really been a good run. And people have been definitely coming out. And our plan of action at the end of each meeting is for everybody to take the information that they've received, go with their family and friends in the city, outside, in in other states, and share what you know, to talk about the ballot at the top, which is Kamala, and the ballot, the down balloting, and why that's important. And hopefully it's making a difference. But Greg, I just saw an opening, and I thought I'd just cut you. I thought I'd come right in. I'm sorry to really interrupt. You can go ahead.
That's okay, Rob. You told me to go ahead, and then you said,
right. But then I started thinking. It's like, oh, let me get this in right fast. But I do want to say that thank you for participating, because you were a lot of input, and when they talked about getting the financial planning in the school system, and how you were a part, and it was very good. Thank you.
Financial literacy. Yeah. Thank you, Roz. So I think the information on the propositions, when we get the information in the booklet, I'm looking to see. Oh, here it is. And I don't know if you can see the thickness of this, and it goes on and on and on, and it's very fine print. And they always say that the devil's in the details, but these propositions and measures there's information in here, and you really have to. I imagine there's very few people that go through it. The entire booklet is, for me, it was 143 pages of information. It doesn't include it in the candidates. This is just on the measures and information. And let me see take a quick poll. What percentage of people do you think will take the time to read through this entire booklet? Renee said 0, right? Anybody else got a number? 10%? 20? Everybody's on mute. So I suspect that it's probably down around 10 or 20% that will go through this. And what happens far too often is that we're going to the polls and we are just blindly voting. So peering at this, it looks like the break is over at the State of Black LA and they are returning. So let me refresh the screen, make sure I'm current. I don't think I was. And now let's go back here. So let's see. Anything in the chat? Shamika, you got your ballot today? Yes, I got mine yesterday. So I was actually opening the envelope while we were live. All right. Share. Boom. Share sound. Click.
Invited me to speak today. I am well aware how much work it takes to bring us together for this learning and sharing. And I want to ask that you join me in thanking the entire team that made today possible. If those folks could just stand. I also, I work for the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors, and I'm so blessed to work for a team that every day shows up with courageous leadership, with a vision, and for this ongoing support for the county's anti-racism, diversity, and inclusion initiative, led by Dr. Scorza, who you heard from earlier today. It's not usual for us to have such a deeply committed and powerful group of elected officials, many of whom you heard from this morning, leading efforts to ensure that government plays an active role in dismantling racism, in particular anti-Black racism. But most importantly for me, I want to share my deep appreciation for everyone here today. You're the folks that are actually doing the impressive work to build a just society where everyone has the resources, opportunities, and power for optimal well-being. If it's okay, let's just take a moment to recognize who's with us today. Could those of you that are working in community-based and/or advocacy organizations stand up? And how about those of you working in faith-based organizations? Stay up. And those of you join them, you're in faith-based organizations. What about those who are our business community partners? And those of you in government, the extraordinary elected officials, county and city workers, you're all aligning yourselves with these transformative policies, practices, and programming. Can you stand as well? And let's be joined by our friends from academia and healthcare. So these are the folks that do the work for us, and we owe you a debt of gratitude. So we're going to take a moment, thank each other, say hi to each other, because the reality is that none of us are alone in this work. And collective action is what it takes to build a just LA. I want to spend the next couple of minutes talking about the power and the heartache of the data we often use to describe disproportionality and the experiences of those who are oppressed and marginalized. Can I get the first slide? Go to the next slide. This is probably familiar, devastating data to many who are in the room. For most routinely collected mortality measure, Black residents in LA County in 2022 had higher death rates than residents in all other large racial groups for all of the indicators you see on this table. Black residents died from coronary heart disease, strokes, diabetes, and COVID at rates that were almost 2 times higher than the rate for white residents. Black women were 4 times more likely to die from a pregnancy-related complication than white women. And Black babies were 2 times more likely to die before they turned 1 year old. Black people died of HIV infection at rates that were 6 times higher than the rates for white residents. Unfortunately, this slide doesn't help us understand that disproportionality is not about race, but rather racism. Next slide. Let me quickly share some of the data from the first 2 years of the pandemic. I'm using those 2 years because we had relatively good reporting on COVID-19 cases, hospitalizations, and deaths. The lines on this graph show the differences in who got infected. As you can see, during every one of our surges, those bumps up, Latino, Latina, Latinx individuals, that's the blue line, and Black individuals, the red line, had the highest case rates. Next slide. This is true for hospitalization rates, where again, the red and blue lines are the experiences of Black and Latino, Latina, Latinx residents. Next slide. And sadly, higher case and hospitalization rates translated into significantly higher death rates for Black and Latinx individuals. Lots of folks can look at this data, as well as the mortality rates I shared on the first slide, and tell themselves a story about why the disproportionality. Sadly, these stories often start with assuming the disproportionality is mostly associated with individual behavior choices. For COVID-19, the story was about vaccinations, and it went something like this. People who were the hardest hit had worse outcomes because they didn't get vaccinated. Next slide. There's some reality to the relationship between vaccine and outcomes. As you can see here, regardless of race, on average, people who got vaccinated did better than people who didn't get vaccinated. But that isn't the full story. Vaccinated Black and Latinx individuals had significantly higher rates of hospitalizations than vaccinated white and Asian individuals. And being unvaccinated was definitely riskier for Blacks and Latinx people than for white and Asian people. And we know this isn't about a difference based on race. Rather, if we dig deeper, we can see it's about differences in access to the very resources that protected folks from a rapidly changing, new, and deadly virus. Next slide. There is a clear context that helps explain this disproportionality in COVID-19 experiences. It had to do with the amount of exposures. What were the home, work, and community conditions like? Who had easy access to vaccines, testing, and therapeutics? Where were the pharmacies located that participated in the federal pharmacy program? And who had access to telework, sick pay and family leave, and options to get protected when they were at the workplace? Sadly, these all differed by geography, race, and income, and they resulted in the devastating disproportionality we saw in outcomes. Those people that went to work to make sure we had food, clothes, our transportation system worked, those were the people hardest hit by the pandemic. And a lot of those workers were Black and brown workers. People who were living in our most dense communities in overcrowded housing, spread was a lot easier. And for those people who had no access to sick pay, had no access to telework options, spread became inevitable. Our work at Public Health isn't to just document these disparities. Rather, we need to connect these disparities to the underlying inequities in the distribution of the very things folks need to thrive and be healthy, like good education, well-paying jobs, safe working conditions, safe housing, affordable and healthy foods. Without telling the full story behind the disproportionality, we run the risk of perpetuating not just false narratives, but inadequate solutions. Our collective work is to dismantle racism, and it provides us with the only real solution to end the pervasive and immoral disparities we see year after year in health outcomes. Thank you very much for having me here today.
Thank you very much. Now please help and welcome Dr. Scorza back to the stage for another LA County report.
Thank you so much for that incredibly insightful overview, Dr. Ferrer. I think it's really powerful to hear and understand that ultimately it's the very conditions that many of our family members and many of our residents live in that set the outcomes that we experience. It's not rooted in our behavior or our choices. It's rooted in what those conditions might be like. So today, as we prepare for the Healthcare Access, Equity, and Quality panel, I want to acknowledge that we know it's because of structural and anti-Black racism that many of our communities are more likely than any other racial group to experience the adverse outcomes we just heard Dr. Ferrer talk about across many health and well-being measures throughout the life course. Now, we did a number of interviews with political individuals here in the county, residents, community leaders, and there was an incredible awareness and deep concern about the significant health disparities that exist throughout our entire county and the issues in healthcare access our communities face. Advance. So, as you go through this report, I just want to put your attention to it. We're not going to talk about all the things that are in the report, but I want you to know there's some features here that'll be helpful as you think about how to contextualize the data and understand what's actually happening, as well as what the response is here in the county. So a couple of things you can note. Again, pull up your phones and access the digital report. It is online. It is a living document. It is consistently changing. We have a map of county services and resources that align with the programs and the data that has demonstrated need. So think about it this way quickly. If there is a need for healthcare insurance, you can actually pull up this map and find out where in the county you can go get access to healthcare programs or services. Or if you need mental health support, same thing. You can figure out where the local clinic is. If you need housing support, you can figure out what the local housing provider is. And so what we did in this year's report is we didn't just say, hey, here's the data. Here's the data, here's the need, and now here are the resources to match that need. So I want to acknowledge that and thank our teams for that hard work. And one of the things that we're doing, we have a team here. If you want to meet with them, we're taking videos of people's stories. We're also trying to capture video stories of Black LA small business owners, local educators, elected officials, residents, community activists, and that will be a feature on this year's report. Advance. So when we think about physical and behavioral health, again, you heard Dr. Ferrer talk about healthcare outcomes, especially during the pandemic. But one of the things that I want you all to know that came up in the report as a few highlights is that while there were 91% of Black youth who reported having a usual source of care, there was a 5.6% drop in the number of Black people in the county without a usual source of care compared to 2022. And so healthcare access is actually going up in the county. The other thing that we recognize for Black folk, the other thing we recognize is that Black residents are more likely than other racial groups to live in areas with a shortage of physicians and behavioral health practitioners. So think about the connection to the COVID-19 data that you just heard. If we had more physicians and more healthcare providers, we would probably see different outcomes in our communities. We also know that Black mothers experience a 4 times higher likelihood that they will have maternal mortality or infant mortality issues. And we also know that these two issues have become even bigger since many of the legislative changes around reproductive health care. And then finally, here in California, we know that often many of our institutions are working hard to preserve reproductive rights. But we still have a long way to go in solving poor birth outcomes and protecting the life of those in our community and in our county specifically who are giving birth. And so there's a lot more work to be done. And I'm excited to welcome the panel who will talk to you more about it as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Scorza. So now we are moving on to our next panel discussion on health, access, and equity. Please welcome our panelists. Our next panel has been seated, so they're going to be talking to us about everything you need to know about health, access, and equity, breaking barriers and addressing systemic inequities. Another panel of distinguished subject matter experts, and please hold your applause until introductions are completed. Dr. Mona Jikanju Tokwi, an infectious disease specialist. Dr. Mona is the Western Regional Medical Director of the AIDS Healthcare Foundation. And alongside her is David Ford. David is a two-time cancer survivor, board member of the American Cancer Society, and also a respected voice and speaker throughout the country on survivors' experience and health policy issues. Welcome, David. And next is Dr. Jen I. Robinson, familiar with these surroundings. She is the chair of the Department of Family Medicine and the Associate Dean of Primary Care for USC's Keck School of Medicine. And next to Dr. Robinson is Dr. Noman Shah. Dr. Shah is a Division Chief of Medical and Dental Affairs for the LA County Department of Public Health. And to my far left is also Dr. Elaine Batchelor. Dr. Batchelor is the founding CEO of MLK Community Healthcare and Hospital here in South Los Angeles. And completing the panel as a moderator is Dr. William King. Dr. King is a medical director of W. King Healthcare Group and a professor at the Charles Drew University of Medicine and Science. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for this esteemed panel of speakers and medical experts. We have a great panel. So Dr. King, the microphone is yours, the show is yours.
Great, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning. My name is William King. I'm an internal medicine physician and an HIV specialist in private practice in the Crenshaw area. My private practice is 5 minutes away from where I grew up and where my mom, who's hopefully watching this program right now, still lives. I'm honored to moderate with this esteemed panel here, and I'm sure we're gonna have an exciting discussion. You heard the introductions, but please read the bios of these physician leaders and advocates. They have dedicated their lives to instilling change in our community and seeking healthcare equity. So let's learn from them. So first, Dr. Robinson, good morning.
Good morning.
I would like to direct the first set of questions to you. We are stunned by the revelations of the past panel on homelessness. Not only are you a family physician and chair of the USC Department of Family Medicine, you also co-founded the USC Street program many years ago, 6 years ago, actually. How does the intersection of economic inequality, housing instability, and health inequity uniquely affect the Black population in Los Angeles? 2, what solutions or initiatives are being proposed or implemented to address these interconnected issues?
Thank you, and I'm delighted to be.
Hey guys, we're going to interrupt that momentarily. We've been joined by our co-host, Robin Billups, and she was at the Black LA, State of Black LA this morning. So Robin, if you can come and come on screen and unmute and share with us your experience from this morning. Please welcome Robin Billups.
Good morning, everybody. Good day, everyone. I'm glad to be here. I so miss spending my time with you guys every week. I miss that. Today's session has been really well attended. All of the politicals are here, and some of my concerns have to do with the fact that we spend a lot of time introducing the introducing, and talking about what the challenges are. But the housing panel did an exceptional job. They did an exceptional job correlating homelessness and the reason why people are homeless, and that it was purposed that we are in these quagmires that we're in. That the appraisal process between not having folks that look like us on the appraisal team panel, not having access to capital so that we can grow our businesses, not having the right person come to do the appraisal so that you can get the right value in order to be able to borrow the money and what have you. So again, what the takeaway today is we got to do something, and we cannot continue to allow folks to be elected and not hold them accountable. So this, as a community briefing every week talks about, your vote counts. Your vote decides how much money is allocated to your community. When you hear people talk about down ballot voting, that means that your local elected officials are the ones that are actually going to make a difference on whether the money is going to come to our community or not. Maxine Waters did a fantastic job talking about the funds that she's been able to garner for our community. Congresswoman Kamlager Dove, and I never say her name right. Is it Dove Kamlager Dove? She did an exceptional job talking about the legacy that she stands on in order to get something done and to bring these monies into our community. Michael Anderson, who has been one of our cohorts and actively engaged with community briefing, and Michael Banner both did an exceptional job laying out the strategy that you can't just you can't just focus on homelessness, and you can't just not focus on health disparity, economic disparity, educational disparity. Basically, all of these challenges have to be looked at collectively. We cannot just attend to one thing. We have to make a collective address to mitigate all of the purposed segregation and denials that have been made. And I think people don't even align with the fact that your tax dollars are what we're talking about. Those are your tax dollars. I was listening on my way here. I was listening to Urban View, and they were talking about the fact that when you look at how many teachers who are Black or brown who put their money in the pension fund, but when it's time for them to go borrow some of that money as a venture for their business or for whatever purpose that they need to borrow that money, our money gets lent to some other community. And then the criteria gets changed about how to actually access that money. It's going to be real interesting to see what unfolds after today's exceptional. They have exceptional panels who are deeply, deeply experienced in these areas. But I think the difference this go around, guys, is collaboration. Just like what the community briefing does every week. Every week we try to bring somebody on our program who can literally identify resources and help us figure out how to access those resources. But what I'm hearing today is collaboration has to happen. We can no longer operate in silos. We have to collaborate. And part of it has to do with the fact that the president of USC spoke earlier today, female, and she talked about the programs that the campus has created in order for them to do better outreach, past the immediate campus, all the way over to Crenshaw area. So again, they're aligning with these schools, they're aligning the resources in these communities, but we have to show up and we have to vote and we have to voice our concerns, and we can't just voice our concerns and be mad. We have to voice our concerns and stay at the table until you get an answer to whatever question you have.
Thank you, Robin. And give us an idea, a shout out to some of the players, the movers and shakers that were in the room today, aside from yourself, of course.
Greg, it's like the black and brown who's who of Los Angeles. Antonio Vergosa, Congresswoman Maxine Waters, school board, Urban League, their board is full of individuals.
It's Diane Watson.
Diane Watson, it's the who's who. It is the who's who of Black and Brown LA. But the other part to that is, are you doing what you were charged to do? Right? You're showing up, and you guys know me, the introducing, you're taking up time where it should be time for questioning and answering versus introducing somebody who's their bio is already in the bulletin. Get to the issues at hand versus paying accolades. We can't look in the rearview mirror anymore. We got too much in front of us that needs to be done. And so people like to pay accolades to, this person did this and that person did that. And yeah. So one of the things that was brought up is the millions and billions of dollars that are being allocated by the Biden and the Harris administration. And what's critically important is her being reelected so that those funds will stay there. Because if someone else is elected, then those monies are they're there. The funding is there, but it's going to be reallocated and not for the needs that we're talking about right now.
Mm-hmm. And it's election time, so
Yes.
who was in the room that, and perhaps it's on ballot or that we have voted for that it shows the importance of Black Los Angeles, and also who wasn't there that you think maybe should have been there.
Well, and to your point, when I say everybody was here, everybody is here. The only person I haven't seen is Colonel Price. He's the only one who's not here. Mark Ridley Thomas is here. Maxine is here. The Honorable Acting Secretary of HUD is here. There's 12 million people from the SBA that are here. Holly Mitchell kicked us off this morning. And again, as I said before, the president of USC did an exceptional job talking about. I think that we need to bring them on because they're doing some stuff that we don't know about that's going to benefit our community and benefit our youth. And so again, it's when people listen to this presentation and then start taking some notes about some stuff that on what we need to follow up on, and people that I've met quite a few people that we're going to be inviting to come on to the community briefing to do a deeper dive on the things that they talked about. Right.
Good. Yeah, I saw Joe Roseanne there and Daryl Brown and one of our frequent attendees, Joseph Duncan, was there. And
I'll tell you who's one of my favorites, though. One of the co-hosts is Melissa McGee from Channel 4 News. She's a meteorologist, but she's such a personality. She's a great personality, and she represents us well. And then we had Denora, I think her name is Denora Perez. She's from Telemundo, Channel 52. So again, I think we need to invite Telemundo to come on to community briefing because again, what she said and what I heard from that panel is the Black and Brown community has to align because there's power in numbers. And what impacts us impacts them. It really impacts everybody. Historically, we've been the ones that's been in the forefront and everybody gets the benefit from it. So later on this afternoon, Karen Bass is going to be coming to do her presentation. They're doing the health panel now. And I'm proud to say that I actually sit on the advisory board for the Martin Luther King Hospital and all the great work that they're doing as a public-private partnership in addressing the needs and meeting people where they are, with the street medicine and the mobile dialysis machines and a mobile dialysis van, childcare, healthcare for pregnant moms, with these mobile units that they send out to the community when people can't actually get to the hospital.
And I know you take great notes. So what did you note down? What did you circle and star? Because I know how you are. You starred and circled something. So share with us what you starred and circled.
Greg, today I brought my bag and I didn't take one note. I did not, and that's not Robin. And you know me, that is not Robin. But I decided I just wanted to listen. I wanted to listen. However, we also have a young man that we're going to be inviting. He's an investigative reporter. He's doing a story on health disparities in the Black and Brown community. He sat next to me. He recorded the whole thing. He says, "You don't have to take notes. I got you." So we will be getting those notes from him as well. But you're right. I usually do take copious notes. But today I decided, let me just sit here and hear these folks pontificate. Because then that way, when we can tell them, you said this is what you said to the public, kind of thing. There's a whole row of US Bank folks there. We've had some people from US Bank come to talk to us, but the issue is, what have you done? Who have you funded? Those are the answers I think that we want to get from these folks going forward. Just don't just tell us about the program. Tell me what successfully you've done with that program.
Does anybody have any questions for Robin? Crystal, Roz, Renee? Oh, Stephen says, from your attendance there, we should be able to fill up our calendar for the rest of the year.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
I miss you guys. I really do. This is what I needed to be here. And Michael, and I said, as I said before, the folks who have presented, they've done an exceptional job and they are doing good work. There's so much more work to do. No question about it.
Yep. And Shamika's hipping you to an app called Wave, and that will take notes and transcribe it for you, I guess, from your phone. So, so you can move into the
Next
21st
generation,
century,
right?
right?
Exactly. All right, all right, all right.
And that would be the one day I'd ask you for notes, and you didn't. You took the day off. Of
Exactly,
course, of
exactly.
course.
But getting ready for this, helping Michael to get ready for this, he and Michael Banner have done a yeoman's job. And Rochelle Mills is another person we're going to invite. She's been in the development game for a long time. She's running a nonprofit out of Orange County, and she was one of the other people that I solicited to sit on this housing panel. She's doing some great work. So again, to your point, we have a host of individuals who are willing to come and talk to our audience and reach our audience and give us the guidance that we need to move forward.
Yep, yep. And then Stephen just pointed out that our guest next week is from AT&T, which is who's that? Roz? There we go. So Mackenzie Neely Wright, who is with AT&T, I think external consumer relations, something like that, is the official title. But she'll be joining us next week, and I did see her in the audience as well. So she was there. I don't know if you've met her, Robin.
I haven't met her, but Terry Batch, who's been on our show from Global LA, is here.
Okay.
And she wants to do a follow-up as well. Again, the room is crowded. The room is crowded with all the monkey mucks, but my whole thing is, what did you do? You got that position. What are you doing with that position? Right.
Got it. Well, thank you, Robin, for sharing that with us. And we're glad that you're our unseen reporter and correspondent.
Take care, guys. Love you.
All right.
Bye-bye. Let me get back in there.
Okay. Thank you so much. All right. Let's see if we can rejoin this here. How do we do that? We do screen share. We go here. There we go. And then we have to turn the sound on.
Right now, in our community, with our resources, our authorities, and our innovation. We have a medical debt coalition of more than 40 different organizations, everyone from community-based groups like Rising Community and 1LA, advocacy groups, American Cancer Society, hospital leaders like Dr. Batchelor, health plans, government agencies. And this coalition has informed, it's enacting our work, and it's been incredibly powerful. Some of those partnerships, we're reforming financial assistance, improving financial assistance policies and applications, so that we don't just have great policies on paper, but we actually put them into practice. We're requiring the reporting and collection of medical debt data, and I think this is going to be transformative. So we're really actually, providing a basis for dialogue, internal dialogue within organizations, and external dialogues with their stakeholders. And we have partnerships to both retire medical debt and then other efforts for patient navigation and other tools to prevent medical debt and provide people that trust an agency back. The other side of partnerships, though, that's really important is leadership. Without leadership, we wouldn't have these partnerships. We've had to have individuals step outside of their personal and organizational comfort zones to really be a part of this coalition. We've had organizations and individuals bear cost for doing better. And this leadership really matters. It's why this, I think, venue is so important. All of you are leaders, and you're doing it in an open way, in a way that encourages and inspires others to be leaders. And I really, really want to particularly thank, Supervisor Hahn and Supervisor Mitchell and all the supervisors who have passed a number of actions on medical debt. But also, forgive me for putting you on the spot, but I'm an incredible fan of MLK Healthcare and Dr. Batchelor. We've worked together for several years from the COVID pandemic when they had to house multiple patients in their gift shop because South LA was so overloaded. They were the most burdened hospital, not only in the state, but possibly the country. From Mpox, that emergency when MLK Community Hospital took care of some of our sickest Mpox patients in the county. They're not a tertiary academic medical center, but they roll up their sleeves and take care of whatever's needed. And personally, I think beyond the quality and compassionate healthcare, we need this kind of leadership that does the advocacy to really shift power by changing the payment mechanisms that create a two-tiered caste system right now. So just really, really grateful for the partnerships and leaderships that are letting us address medical debt in all these different ways.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Shaw. Mr. Ford, good morning.
Good morning.
In the 6 years since you were diagnosed with prostate cancer, many advancements in science and medicine have been made, and more continue to appear on the scene. What recent breakthroughs seem most meaningful to you, especially in terms of making the journey less traumatic and less intimidating to those who may be reluctant to be getting screened? By the way, thank you for sharing your journey.
Well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me back this year to serve on this panel again. It's quite interesting to watch the disparity of Black America. The gap gets wider and wider in so many different areas, and particularly in the healthcare arena. We're seeing unprecedented amounts of deaths of African Americans that have been diagnosed with cancer late and are in stage 3, stage 4. In 2023 is estimated to be about 1.9 million people will be diagnosed with cancer, over 644,000 deaths. Out of that, African Americans have a largest proportion of diagnosis and deaths of cancer, and particularly in the areas of prostate cancer and breast cancer for women, prostate cancer for men. I think that we have to really look at how we can focus on areas of innovation and research to look at biomarkers, the registry, to be able to identify pathways in which we can get early screening, early indications. The advanced stages of cancer at stage 3 and 4 must be addressed much more aggressively. There has been policies that are put in place right now in the Senate. Senator Cory Booker is marshaling a bill called the HIM Act, and what that is doing will eliminate the copay for men who have to undergo a prostate exam or a PSA. That will help eliminate a barrier there, but much more is needed to be done in research. And what I have found, one of the innovative approaches with addressing prostate cancer is with Oxford Biodynamics. They have come up with a blood test called EpiSwitch PSE. With a biopsy, well, with a PSA and a PSE, it improves the accuracy from 55% to 94%. Now, I'm going to use, say, my Uncle Sam lives in a little small town in Ohio, and he can't get across the road to get to the doctor, but he's got someone coming to his house to do his blood test. Well, that eliminates a lot of time and gives the physician a real look to see, well, okay, we may have to do a biopsy now because this test is showing his PSA levels are high, his Gleason score, to be much more aggressive. But we've got to continue to find a pathway through innovation, technology, patient support, advocacy, as well as allyship with organizations such as the Urban League, such as Brotherhood Crusade here in Los Angeles, or GLAC, to put on these types of symposiums that people can get information and be much more aware of the need to really bring about these discussions and let us find a pathway to do something about it. We've got to turn our pain into a purpose with passion. We have to do that. We have to do that.
So we are at the 12 o'clock hour, and let's see, how do I stop share? There we go. Nope, I'm going to do this. Stop share. There we go.
Awesome, Greg.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Come on, step out a minute because the kids are just finished competing, and so I don't want to interrupt the judges while they compete and select my kids. So, but man, I felt like we were Telemundo ourselves, man. We were doing some high tech stuff today.
Yeah, we hear you. Yeah, I couldn't figure out why in full screen it was buffering or something, so we'll have to figure something out. I was trying to close out stuff, whatever. So, but it was good, and we look to bring information to the community. So we thank you guys for joining us today. Crystal will close us out. I mentioned next week our guest is in charge of external affairs for AT&T. Mackenzie Neely Wright. She'll be joining us. I did see her in the audience today, so she was present. And now, in moments, in days, Mackenzie Neely Wright, area manager of external affairs for Los Angeles and South Bay. So, Crystal is going to be going across the pond, the big pond, and heading to Egypt, or becoming our Egyptian queen. So, Crystal, go ahead and close us out.
Okay, I'm gonna close this out, but I'm bringing my girl here. She just competed in the competition in New York City, and she did a fantastic. Are you excited?
Yeah.
Oh,
Hooray.
awesome! She did great.
Thank you.
Hooray.
So, guys, that's what I'm doing. That's my remote today, and we had
Yep.
a young man that also competed. So, hopefully, our kids will come first and second. We'll see. But there's some amazing kids here. Thank you guys for joining us. I know we had some technical in the beginning, but who knows? We did a good job. Thank you, Greg, for being the moderator today, and Robin is awesome being there. So thank you. We will see you next week. Tell some friends. I will actually process this and get this up to our YouTube channel. Is not on Facebook right now, but it will be before I get to Egypt, but probably after I get to Egypt. All right, guys. So see you the next week. Have a great weekend.